What's up, everybody? This is a installation guide for installing a ICS SEF Lower on a GSG-5. This is basically an airsoft motor housing, but it's just a nicer look than the factory lower that comes on the guns, in my opinion. This is the factory housing. And when we're done, it's going to look something like this. It's your SEF Lower. The installation we're going to do is going to be on the carbine, but the procedure is almost exactly the same on the pistol and the PK versions as it is on the carbine. So this is just an example. This is a PK SBR. The Form 1 is good on this, so no questions on that. Don't bother commenting. This is a registered SBR, so don't set your gun up like this with a folding stock and V-grip if you don't have an approved Form 1. Alright, the tools you'll need are the GSG screwdriver, the GSG Allen key or a corresponding Allen wrench from your toolbox. You also need an Allen wrench, extended Allen wrench to remove the trigger pack retaining screw. You will need a Dremel and a couple of attachments. You'll need a cutting wheel or a sanding wheel, a small rotary sanding attachment, and a tapered grinding tool attachment. So at this point you should have the gun pretty much broken down. You've got your stock, your trigger assembly and lower, your bolt stop, your push pins or your assembly screws, the upper receiver, and the bolt and bolt carrier. Okay, now it's time to disassemble the original trigger pack. So let's remove these two screws. And then remove the plate. Now you want to remove the screw here on the underside of the selector switch. Once you've removed the screw, you can remove the selector switch, starting on the left side. Just kind of work it out. This little cap will pop off. And then pull the assembly out of the right side. Okay, now we're going to use a long Allen wrench to remove the trigger pack retention screw inside the grip. Okay, now after you've removed the screw, you can remove the trigger pack from the housing. And I usually just grasp it by this plate and work it loose, but don't do it the whole time because it's not held on there by anything except those bushings. Just grab the hammer. Now the bushing and the plate is going to pop off of there. That's fine if that does happen to you. You should have two brass bushings, these little guys, this plate, and then this spring in this little groove right here. Don't lose that. It might just be easier or more advantageous to just take that out. So you've got all your parts in one spot. You've got the plate, the spring, and the two bushings. Everything else is relatively contained on the trigger pack because you're going to be doing a lot of test fitting. So don't forget to take those parts off. At that point, you're pretty much done with your old housing, so throw it in the parts bin. If you ever want to resurrect it, you can always do that, but it's time to say goodbye. Out with the old, in with the new. Here is the new trigger housing. It's made by ICS Innovation, Competition, and Satisfaction. It is an airsoft housing, and the part number is MP 46. So if you do an online search, a lot of times you can pick it up that way. I purchased this at, I'm not sure how you say it, it's like evike.com. I believe it's www.evike.com. And it just kind of depends on availability. This is a pretty hot modification on the GSG-5, so a lot of times they're out of stock, but I was able to get a couple of them a couple weeks back. So, okay, the modifications that we've got to make are as follows: a cutout here for the serial number block on the trigger pack. Enlarge the front assembly pin hole. Remove a couple of plastic ribs on the inside of the plastic housing. Enlarge the hole here for the selector switch cap, and enlarge the hole in the bottom for the trigger pack retaining screw. Okay, we're going to start with removing these little plastic ribs on the inside. There's 2 on this side and 2 on the opposite side. It's kind of hard to see there, but they block the trigger pack from completely depressing into the housing. So what I like to use is this little sanding wheel, and so we're going to go ahead and start that. So when you're done, you should be completely smooth all the way down to the bottom of the housing. I mean, at least to the bottom of the trigger opening there. You should be able to run your finger along there, and it should be smooth, just like that. Okay, now we're gonna measure for the cutout for the serial number block. Take the trigger pack and insert it into the housing, just like so, and make sure that it's lined up in the front and in the back. You see this little groove here? It's going to be a really tight fit, so you got to make sure that it's lined up. The front of the trigger pack needs to be on the back of this rib right here, and in the back the same thing, just lined up just like that. Now that's where you need to make your cutout, and it's going to be exactly the same size as the as the serial number block. What I like to do is take a pocket knife and just score it right where you need to start your cutout, and do it on both sides, just like that. So that way you'll know where it needs to go. Try to make it as straight as possible. Alright, so that's your cutout. The attachment that I like to use is the cutting wheel, and just take your time, cut it out and test fit it, because you can always cut more plastic out, but you can never replace it. So just take your time and start slow. Okay, so now that I've started my cutout, I've just put the trigger pack back in to make sure that everything's lined up still. And we are lined up in the front and lined up in the back. So I'm going to continue this down and just keep test fitting it.